Hey, Nata here. Today I'm going to do part 4 of my What If Deku was a Lightning Dragon Slayer. So in the last part he got the Shadow Lacrima from the Shadow Dragon. Um he used it, well, he trained for about 2 days to basically just control one or the other or both at the same time. He did the sports festival, which he afterward he decided to go to Night Eyes Agency, where Mirio, who has One for All, is. Everyone else basically goes to the same agencies as they did, and yeah, that's pretty much it for now. So, well, for what happened. So now it is the moment where he arrives in Night Eyes Agency. He gets told by Mario. Well, he meets Mario. He Mario explains to him who he is, that he's a third year, blah blah blah. Then he says to Deku, the only thing you should do is try to make him laugh. If you're able to do that, you should be fine. Which, uh, he grew up with a dragon. Well, he passed a good 4 years with a dragon that didn't have any sense of humor and that basically took his completely out. So he can still laugh, he does have fun, but he doesn't know any way to make any jokes or stuff like that, which is pretty bad if you count how Night Eye do things. So basically, he tells him that, and Mirio, well, he he tells Mirio that he might have a bit of trouble with that, since he literally doesn't have any sense of humor or knows how to make any jokes anymore. Basically, because of trainings he did for 4 years with a, an older hero that basically wasn't really seen by the public. So Mirio asks a, a vigilante. He says, kind of, but he was literally never met by anyone, so I don't think the words apply to him or the others. When Mirio asks the others, he says, well, 14, that each of them could train me if they wanted to use their elements. And, well, the elements they control. I have Thunder and Shadow, which you probably saw, but I only had Thunder when I started having my powers. The others, well, the other was basic. When I was 10, I was told, well, literally kind of taken by the hero, and then told that my powers were kind of like theirs, but compared to theirs, I basically have all of their elements. Just need to or train with someone who has them, or get basically a shock to my system with that element, which might take a little, which for the training can take a massive amount of time, which he said over years sometimes, but that if I get a shock to my system, it's practically insane. Blah. It's practically like I trained for all of those years, but without having anything. And then he also said that the quirk is called, well, the name of the quirk. Mirio asks, so dragon? Which Izuku says, yeah, and for every element I gain, I'm basically getting, just like them, a sort of longevity boost, which will make me age slower and stay alive longer, like a dragon. And Mirio basically tells him, so how many do you want to have of those elements? Which Shizuku basically says, to be honest, the second one I basically just stumble and just went to talk to one of my master's friend who basically just gave it to me, gave me the shock to the system I needed to have the shadows, and that's basically what happened. And then they arrive in front of Night Eye's door, and he says, just remember, make him laugh. With Izuku basically telling him, how? I don't have sense of humor, basically while opening the door. With Night Eye seeing him and hearing I don't have a sense of humor, well, I cannot make jokes, I'm unable to. With him basically looking at him and saying, so, you're a good, you're someone with great powers and that the capacity to help anyone, but you're unable to make jokes. That wouldn't do. Since Night Eye basically wants to see everyone in the world laugh and stuff like that. So, being told that he doesn't have a sense of humor, well, cannot make jokes, he basically took it as a kind of, or laziness or insult. Which for both, he basically just told Izuku, if you want to be here, you have to be a good hero, which we can already take off of the list. But you also need to be able to make people laugh and make them happy. Which Izuku says, yeah, well, I kind of trained for 4 years with an old man that didn't like anything when it came to jokes. It kind of just took me down for that. Nana was surprised of how Izuku responded and asked him precisely what the old guy did and how he actually worked to train him. Which Izuku basically took off his shirt, Bubble Girl being in the room and being kind of, well, blushing literally, because he basically has the same frame as Luxus, and Luxus basically have just a bit more muscle than Mirio. So basically, she blushed at that, and then they all saw all of the marks and wounds that have kind of healed over. And Night Eye is basically wide eyed at this point. And that joke was literally accidental, but still. He basically just looked at a kid take off his shirt, passing from someone that would look to just have trained in a gym all his life to someone who basically seemed to have been against wild beasts all his life. He asked precisely what his master did, and Izuku told him that what happened was more like because of the quirky his master had and the training that they did together. He was wounded a lot, but it didn't really matter for him right now since everything's perfectly fine. So it's not as if he had a problem with his body. Basically, everything's perfectly fine, as if he never had those wounds except the marks that they left, which not I can see is true. So after that, he takes a closer look at Izuku, looking at his face, basically meeting the conditions for him to use his quirk correctly. And then he basically asked one question to Deku: why do you want to be a hero? Because I think he can see if someone is lying to him thanks to that, to his quirk. Well, before they do. Like, if you're going to lie to him by saying something, I think that is a lie. Without even telling him, he will actually know that you're lying to him. And Izuku doesn't know that, but all he does is just say the truth, which is, I want to be the best hero possible for the sake of everyone. Which not I see is the truth, and basically decides to accept him in his agency for now. Then, when that's over, he basically tells Mirio to try and train him, but somewhere else in the world. A specific dragon. That dragon was looking around for Izuku because he heard from from the Thunder Dragon and the Shadow Dragon, that there was a boy that was basically trying to be a hero, and that both of his powers are basically a pure force of attack for now, a pure force of defense, basically making sure nothing touches you. But that even then, if he does take damage or that other people are hurt, he cannot do anything about them and those problems. And this dragon wanted to find a successor for her Lacrima. Yes, her. She is a girl. And she thought of him and decided to try and find him to give it to him. What will happen is basically for a while, Night Eye, Mirio, Bubble Girl, and some other people in the agency basically trained with Deku, saw that his speed was incredible, that in his shadow he basically is able to go through any size of holes as long as his shadow can pass through it. They saw, they got that he could eat both of his elements without problem. And then at some point, like let's say the day before they have to go on patrol, Izuku sends a magic power basically emanating from somewhere a bit far, but precisely in one direction of him. And basically, it was like it was calling him. So he basically said that to Night Eye that he wanted to go see something. Night Eye used his quirk on him to see what would happen. And he basically saw, well, let's say what he saw was basically just far enough for him to see Izuku in a forest, basically with a dragon in front of him, and that's where it cuts. With Night Eye basically being like, what the frick? Well, basically, what the fuck, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't say fuck, so yeah. So, he saw that Izuku seemed to be confident on what he was going to do, and basically looked at Mirio and told him, I want you to stay close to him. He's supposed to be in our agency, and if he isn't here, it might be bad. So Mirio basically was okay with that. Izuku was a bit like not sure. Then Mirio says, what, it's a secret? Don't worry, I can keep them. So Izuku reluctantly accepted. Then they started going. When they were in a fort, well, basically Mirio wanted them to go by car, which he basically told Izuku, so which train or which bus do we need to take? And Nadai said, you're going to have to walk. He can't be in a car or anything motorized to be, well, anything that actually works like a car or something like that. Which Mirio didn't get why. Then Izuku said that his quirk is basically making him like as close as possible to a dragon. And one of the things it does is augment every senses he has. Taste, smell, sight, hearing, touch, to an extreme point. And that basically it was overloading all of his sense when he was in a car. So it basically made him sick to a point of being unable to do anything. So Mirio got why, then he asked him how they're going to go there. And Izuku basically said that normally he would just fly there, with Night Eye saying fly there. You know that's illegal, right? To use your quirk in public. Which Izuku basically shows his pass to basically be able to do it. And he's like, oh, okay, sorry about that. But Mirio still has to come with you. So Izuku basically decided. Then Mirio told Izuku, it's no worries. If you don't go too fast, I'm pretty sure I can keep up with you. Which, when they go out, basically Mirio, what he does is go, well, he starts using full calling, since he has one for all. Izuku asks him, isn't your quirk supposed to be permeation? Then, Mirio said, well, yeah, but I have something more, and then Izuku tells him, I'm telling you a secret. I'm going to show you a secret. right now that nobody's supposed to really know. So if I tell you mine, will you tell me yours? Which he basically says, well, I'm not supposed to say it, but, and then Izuku says, it has to do with All Might, right? Which Mirio says, wait, what? Then Deku says, knew it. All Might told me about you, and he seemed to talk really highly of you, as if something had happened. So I was just asking. So Mirio said that the information he has is extremely confidential, so unless he has something of size, he won't be able to tell him. Then Izuku basically just looks at him and says, I'm going to meet with a dragon. Then Mirio says, oh, okay, why would someone with the quirk of with a dragon quirk be that big of a deal? With Izuku basically telling him, no, you don't get it. I'm meeting up with a real dragon. Not someone with a quirk or something like that. A true dragon. That's where my quirks come from, and that's where my master and the one that gave me the shadow powers are too. There are 14 of them in total. There was 15, but one of them is dead. And what I'm going to go do is basically because one of them is calling me. With Mirio looking at him like, holy crap! Then he asks him, what kind of secret do you keep? Then Izuku tells him, so, you're going to tell me what's the secret with All Might? I gave you something that's pretty much one of the biggest secrets in the world. Since normally only certain people knows those secrets, well, about the dragons. With Mirio basically saying, okay, but please don't say it to anyone. All Might has a special core called One for All, and it can be passed down from user to user. With Izuku saying, oh, so like the lacrimas the dragon I have in my bodies that the dragon gave me. With Mirio telling him lacrimas? What? Then he says, oh yeah, the reason I have the powers of the dragons and how they gave it to me. Wait, you're saying, but you're Thunderquirk, you have it since you're about 3 or something? Which he says, yeah, but the first Lacrima I got it at that point. The Thunder Dragon kind of dropped it by accident. And yeah, my dad found it, gave it to me. Stuff happens, and then 4 years ago, the dragon took me, told me that there were 3 choices. 1, he kills me, take the lacrima. 2, he takes the lacrima out of me, which would have probably killed a kid of 10 years old, a 10-year-old kid. Or let me live with it, or but just after training me. So Mirio says, so you were trained by a real dragon, and before coming here, before doing the sports festival, you trained for 2 days with another one? Whoa. So then Mirio explains One for All completely, well, what he knows about it. Then they arrive near where the dragon is, and he says that the dragon will probably see him as a threat since you're not supposed to be here, really. So just promise it that you're not going to say anything about it and hope for the best. Which he basically accepts. When they arrive there, it's a sky dragon. Well, the sky dragon queen, whatever. And basically, she saw both Mirio and Deku, and basically looked at Deku, sensing the magic in him, and asking, "Are you sure it is safe for a human to be here?" With Izuku saying, "Yeah, don't worry about him. He promised me he could keep a secret, and he even proved it to me by telling me something that nobody else even knows after all, it was a secret for a secret. So he knows to keep this one a secret as well." So then the dragon tells Izuku, "I heard about the Thunder and Shadow dragon and that they gave you their lacrima. If you They also told me that you want to be able to help people by protecting them and stuff and other things. If you're unable If people are hurt, you might have trouble with your powers, since you won't be able to hurt them as much." Which Izuku basically said, "Yeah, true. I would have problem with that." Which she basically says, "Well, that's why I'm here. You see, I decided that you would be a great candidate for my lacrima." Which Izuku said, "Are you sure? That would make three different lacrimas in me. Is it safe?" Which the dragon says, "Well, each lacrima that you put in your body basically augments your strength over time, as well as give you the element of the dragon that gave it to you. Well, of the element inside of the lacrima. You should be alright. I'm pretty sure your body could take even more if it needed to. But yeah, I am giving you my lacrima, the sky lacrima. If used correctly, my powers can allow you to fly and heal people, as well as enhance their body, strength, speed, and other things." Which basically does make Izuku want it a bit more, since, well, she basically just told him that he could heal people. And thanks to that. Then Mirios asks, "But why would you give it to him without even knowing him? You might know the other dragons, but if you don't know him, why are you sure?" Then Deku turns to him and says, "Because of magic. A dragon, the dragons are one of the most of the creatures that has and create the most magic inside their body. And basically, a lacrima is a stone that is infused with so much magic that it basically creates it infinitely now." So, in magic, you can sense where someone is, as well as sense the element of magic that is in it, the power of the person, both physically and magically, and multiple other things. So just by looking at my magic signatures, she can pretty will see what I'm doing and if I truly am a good person. So she gave him the lacrima. She said, well, it seems you explained him everything. Well, I have to go now. I'm trying to stay away from cities like every other dragons. So if you wouldn't mind, please make sure that he keeps it a secret. Not I, having seen Deku look at a dragon and not being scared when he looked in the future, thought that it was or someone with a quirk or something like that, and just kind of decided to wait and ask him later. So when they got back, basically Izuku being already taught how to use, well, switch between his thunder and shadow, basically just used the same method to change from thunder to his sky now. When they got back, Izuku basically asked, not Izuku, but Night Eye told Izuku, so did it go well? I looked in your future before you left, and was it really a dragon or something? With with Mirio basically looking at Night and saying, oh, after making sure nobody's around, please don't tell it to anyone. With Night saying, wait, but it's a person with a quirk, right? Which basically both Izuku and Mirio look at each other's and say no. So that's why we kind of want you to keep it a secret. This then Izuku was basically already absorbed the lacrima inside of him. Then Deku basically told about dragons, 15 of them, one of them died. That the one that died cannot give his power anymore because, well, the way he gave it, they gave it basically was broken. That he gained the power, he gained the lacrima of the Sky Dragon now. And Night Eye basically listened to all of that, hardly being able to keep it kind of under wrap because he was just listening to someone saying that dragons are real and that if they wanted to, they could kill you pretty easily, and that they gave their power to some humans. So, yeah, pretty much he just heard someone say, some fairy tales are real. Hope you liked it. So, yeah. Um, I'm going. This was basically just a, well, part 4 for, well, first half of part 4. I'm going to continue for a bit, but yeah, this was basically the first half, which was explaining why another dragon wanted to see him, why later Mirio and Night Eye will know about dragons, um, and why Deku now has a Sky Dragon, well, has Sky Dragon Slayer powers. So now it's the night of the patrol. Izuku is able to go Dragon Force in his Shadow, Lightning, and Sky Dragon Force simply because he knows how to activate it, and he just switched between magic and basically uses that. Pretty sure in the show it wouldn't work for normal Dragon Slayer since they only have dragon powers in them, not a lacrima. But the lacrima is basically a source of energy infinite that give them the capacity to actually use um, Dragon Force for a long amount of time without tiring themselves out. So he was basically he basically told Night Eye about Ida, and Night Eye decided to tell Izuku, okay, you're going to Hosu. I'm giving you permission to fight any villains you see, as long as you don't kill them. So that includes Stain. The only the only thing that I want you to do is to make sure that if you need see a villain, it needs to be attacking someone for you to take it out. So the credit will still go to you, but please be careful. So he was sent with Mirio to Hosu to basically find him. In Hosu, Izuku was basically using Sky Dragon Force to fly around and try to find basically Ida. Sorry about that. So when he finally found him, he basically texted Mirio, Shoto, and everyone from Class 1A with coordinates. Then he arrived down, basically starting to create shadows around him, grabbed Ida and the hero, and basically brought them away. Then looked at Stain, with Stain asking him who he was and what he's doing here. Then Ida asked him the same question of what are you doing here? It's my fight. With Izuku telling him what you're doing is revenge. So don't try to tell me that how to be a hero. You're not even doing it yourself. Then Ida telling him that he hurt his brother. He should be the one to stop him. With Izuku telling him, "Are you freaking serious? He hurt your brother. Your brother is stronger than you. How do you freaking want to stop him?" Sorry. Then he told Ida that he is stronger than himself, that Ida is weaker than Izuku. Then he basically looked at the hero and started using sky magic to heal him, with wounds literally closing. Then he did it to Ida, which Ida asked him, "How? I thought your quirk was thunder and shadow." Basically, he turned off Dragon Force before coming down because he turned to shadows. So Ida only saw Izuku use shadow. They didn't see him use wind. And then stayed tries to attack him and try to cut him. But Izuku, what he did was look at him and just turn into a shadow when the sword should have touched him. Then, after that happened, he basically tells Stain that Izuku tells Stain that he gets why he's doing it. All of the false heroes, all of the ones that only wants fame and money from it and do not care about the heroes, the people they should save. He gets that it's bad. He actually hates people like that anyway, but it's still bad, and Izuku is trying to save everyone, so it wouldn't be a good thing for him. With Stain telling him after hearing that speech, I'm impressed. You're able to be over the standards that I give everyone. Just like All Might, you're a real hero. But your friend's there, he isn't. Then he tries to move, and Izuku basically sends a lightning through him, which basically paralyzes Stain. So he won. Shoto arrived. Other authorities arrived too. After a bit, Mirio arrived, as well as Endeavor. Someone asked who was the one to take him down, and Mirio said, Izuku. Well, basically what Izuku's name is, well, hero name. Sorry, I just realized that I was talking far away. I'm just going to recap what I said. Basically, Stain told him that he was a true hero. Then Stain tried to re-attack Ida. Deku shocked him. Then everyone arrived. People asked who stopped Stain. Before anyone can say anything, Mirio tells them that Deku did. Then Endeavor goes to tell him he doesn't have a license, he shouldn't do that. With Mirio saying he was actually told by Night Eye that if he sees Stain, to take him out. If someone was attacked. So all he did was do what he was told, which the press is hearing and writing about. So you hear that Night Eye told a student that was doing his, that was in his agency, was told by Night Eye that if someone is in danger, attack the person who's actually hurting them, even if it is blah blah, even if it is Stain. So they know he's stronger than Stain, and that basically multiple people hear that Stain even sees Deku as a true hero, like All Might, which the Action Vanguard Squad, all of those that goes by Stain's rule, basically sees Deku as a true hero and do not want to harm him. So when everyone gets back to class, Ida, well, no. After all of that happened, Izuku asked Ida where his brother was, with Ida asking him why. With Izuku saying, with Mirio saying, well, He has a new element to his quirk, which can basically heal people. Which Ida basically asks, wait, so that's what you did? With basically Endeavor hearing new new element to quirk, and with Shoto basically saying, wait, you have another one now? Which Izuku basically said, with Mirio basically saying, well, he was called by someone and told to meet at some place. I came with him and I just saw some old girl, well, a girl basically grabbing his chest and basically blasting him with a massive amount of wind across the entire room that we were in, and telling him that it was a favor for one of his old friends, which basically everyone was like, what the? Well, everyone that was there basically looked at him like, what the hell did what happened with that? And then Ida basically tells Izuku where it is and that if they can go right now. Endeavor basically telling them, so you're going to tell this a hospital. I can bring you there. Well, no. A medic basically said that they were going there and that they could take them there. With basically Mirio, Ida, and Shoto saying he won't get in that car. With the medic basically asking why. With Shoto basically saying because he cannot be in one. He becomes sick from anything, even just a carriage ride. Which basically is like really interesting for those. Well, for the medic, because wait, so he has those types of elemental types of quirk and he cannot be in cars. Wow. Then Ida, not Ida, but Mirio says, well, his quirk is called Elemental Dragon. He basically has the same hearing. He basically has every sense in his body boosted to that of dragons in mythology. So his sensory system is basically being overloaded in a car or any transportation mode like that. Which one the medic kind of gets because, well, it is known by most medic that, well, not everyone of them, but most people who go to medical school are told that some people get sick in cars because, well, some people have a sensory because of their senses and stuff like that. It can overload them. But yeah, so um, after all that happens, um, sorry, Izuku basically turns Dragon Force, well, Sky Dragon Force with pink hair. Basically, some people taking photos, Endeavor basically laughing at him because, well, pink hairs. Then Izuku grabs Ida and basically starts flying and tells Mirio to say to Narai that he's just going to go help someone. And after healing Ida's brother, this is basically where I'm ending it. So yeah. I'm telling it right now. I had planned for him to get one more element from all 14, but he might get more later in the series. Not a promise, but he will get another one at least. But he might get more after that one. So, hope you liked it. I really like this series because, well, I remember that Anime Junkie started one and literally just did like one episode and then just never even seemed to look at it again. He did that to a lot of series for a while, like doing one episode and never touching it again, which was really nerve-wracking for me. So yeah, hope you liked it. It was fun. Leave a like, Natsu out.